So I'm building the world's first Creality-themed mini dirt bike. I'm gonna turn this into basically a brand new dirt bike when it's all said and done. It's gonna be green and white Creality themed, and then it's also gonna have some mixture of 3D printed parts. And then I'm gonna give it away. And things get very interesting at the end because somehow I end up at El Chapo's brother's house. Yeah, so stick around because you're not gonna wanna miss how that story unfolds. And spoiler alert, I did steal some footage while inside the house. Now it's not much, but I got what I could without anybody seeing me. So I bought this little mini dirt bike at an auction for like around $100. Now it did look rough and I had no idea if it was gonna run. It was $100 and I was like, what's the worst that can happen? It doesn't run and then I have to throw a whole bunch of parts at it, right? So I thought it would be fun, so I went ahead and bought it. Now, shortly after I got the bike home, I ended up making a post talking about rebuilding this bike and making it a Creality-themed mini dirt bike. And someone reached out to me telling me about their son that had really been wanting a dirt bike, and if I ever decided to give it away on my channel or whatever, to keep them in mind. Now, I had a logistics issue with giving this away on my channel because shipping this thing across the United States was going to be costly for one, and then just a hassle for two. So I decided to go ahead and give it to them because they lived here in Texas and they actually live 2 hours away from where I live. They live down close to the Mexico border. I live 2 hours away from the Mexico border, so it really wouldn't be that bad of a trip. So I contacted her back and let her know, hey, it's a go. Don't let your son know anything, and we're gonna drive down there once this build is done, and we're gonna surprise him with it. Now it's just what happens after we surprise him with it that's a bit of a shocker for the video. So let's get started on the build because we don't have a lot of time. So here's the bike, and it's time to take an analytical look at this thing and see what it needs. First off, we can clearly see that it's gonna need some screws, which that's not a big deal. Screws are cheap, and the gas tank's loose, and that's also not a big deal. But will it start? So I tried and it just wasn't gonna start. I kind of knew that going into this, so that wasn't a big deal or a huge surprise. But I thought I would check the kill switch because it has two wires that's been kind of rigged together, and that will stop it from starting, but that didn't pan out for me at all. It wasn't gonna be that simple. And so I had kind of messed up at this point because the little boy's mom, I had already spoke to her and I told her that I would do the giveaway. So I didn't really consider like what if this thing doesn't run or if it's just like the motor shot or something like that. And so at this point I'm thinking in my head like, man, if this thing doesn't work, looks like I'll be buying a brand new dirt bike, and I definitely didn't want to do that. So yeah, we're gonna dive into it and we're gonna figure this thing out. All right, so a lot of this stuff is gonna be cosmetic, right? The main thing is let's make sure it can run. Now I bought this thing at an auction for like 150 bucks, so it wasn't super expensive. And the parts for this thing are also not super expensive. They can all be found on Amazon. And these things are basically just a motor connected to a chain and some tires. That's it. So the main three things that you need with the motor, I'm not a mechanic, but I do know that you need air, fuel, and spark, right? So we know we don't have fuel right now. So we can add fuel, try it, see how that goes. And then it's typically not the air and it's usually either fuel or spark. So we'll check spark next. And then if that doesn't work, if we have spark and fuel, then we'll mess with the airflow settings. Other than that, it should crank up as long as it turns over. And as you could see earlier, I was cranking, not turning on. So it has a little bit of fuel, but we're gonna clean this thing out and we're gonna make sure it has good clean fuel for one, and then we're gonna change the spark plug, and then we can check the ignition coil, and that's about all we can do for this thing. And if it doesn't run then I guess I'll be going and buying another bike. Let's just hope that's not the case. All right, now that we got the fuel tank back on, I took it off and cleaned it. Now I got it back on. I didn't make you guys sit through that, but now that we've got it back on, we're gonna add a little bit of fuel and see if we can get it to start then. So let's add a little bit of fuel. Now this is a 50, I believe it's a 50-50 mix that it takes. Well, that's what we're gonna put in it. So either way, it'll start with regular gas, but it does need an oil mixture. So let's get that in there. Okay, I didn't put a lot of gas in there. I put enough that I think that would be enough to start it. And let's see how this does. Give it a little gas. Oh, you can hear it. Okay, that did not do it. Okay, so I guess on to the next thing. Really, all we can do now is check the spark. That is the next major thing that we could check that will stop it from starting. And to do that, we'll just pull this spark plug right here. Yeah, we'll pull this thing off right here, and if we can get the little thing off. Oh man, these are always a pain. Oh, okay, there. So now we can get the spark plug off right here, and once we get that off, then we can see if we have spark. Let me get a wrench. Okay, so we did not have spark, and I am going to change the spark plug housing assembly here. And it goes down in here into the crankcase right here where the ignition coil is. And I want to say that's going to be the main cause of not having spark. We're going to do that and then we'll be back. All right, so after getting off the crankcase, I went ahead and just decided to replace this thing. And this is the ignition coil, and this is what connects to the spark plug. And this is what gives us spark over here. So this thing works kind of like, I think like magnetically something happens here. I don't have a clue because I'm not a mechanic, but I know that this gives spark, and if I put a new one, we should have spark. And that's what we're gonna do. And it actually comes with the new case and everything. So yeah, we're gonna do that and see what we get. And while we're at it, we're gonna throw a new spark plug on it. So we should be super sparky by the time this is over with. Let's do it. Okay, we're back. I've got the spark plug on. I've got the new crankcase on, and I've got the new ignition coil set on, and I think that's it. This thing should start up. Now, I did realize that this wire hanging right here, that this is basically a kill switch that's not connected. So as long as these aren't touching, then the bike should start. Now, once it started to kill it, these wires should, in theory, they should touch and break the, the spark connection, and it should kill the bike. So we're gonna make sure these aren't touching for now until we get a new one installed. And then we're gonna crank it and see if we get power. All we need is power. And then we're gonna 3D print some cool stuff, throw on this bike, and make it look super cool. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, this is gonna be the world's first Creality-themed mini dirt bike. So the way this thing is gonna be, so if you're looking at the front of the bike, you're gonna have the print head right here, K2 Plus, that's gonna be there. And these are gonna be your Z rods, and then the print head's gonna sit between those. Then at the top of the print head, I'm gonna go ahead and run like some filament over here to the gas tank basically. Because typically you have a clear hose going from here, just kind of dumping off over here for air. And we're gonna utilize that, make it look like, the filament's going into the gas tank. And I think that's gonna be about it. We're gonna put some Creality badging on here, and we're gonna paint this thing green and white Creality colors. And yeah, it's gonna be super cool. And then, like I said, we're gonna give it away to some lucky little kid, and they'll be cruising around this little dirt bike, little Creality themed dirt bike. It's gonna be cool, man. I can't wait. Let's see if we can get it started. Let's go. This is where we're at in life. And it's 2025, and I'm pouring gas into a Dixie cup because my dang spout is busted and it leaks everywhere. So I'm adding a little bit of fuel because overnight this hose right here, it leaked out the little bit of fuel that I put in here. And yeah, I just need to add a little bit of fuel. We're gonna replace that hose, put everything brand new. And when we give this thing away, it's gonna look meticulous. Like, it's gonna be like brand new. And I can't wait to see the look on that kid's face when they see this thing and hear it start. Man, I hope this thing starts right now. That should be enough. You think that's enough? I don't know. I don't want to put too much because we still have to unhook everything. We're gonna lose whatever fuel we put in there. So yeah, let's call that good. And we'll look right here in our fuel filter. If we have fuel in our fuel filter, we should be good. And we do have fuel in our fuel filter. So it is leaking. Yes, it is leaking. Okay, let's see if we can get this thing to start. I think we can do it. I think we can do it. I don't know what choke is up or down on this thing. I don't know. All right, these do not need to touch. Okay, let's do it. Oh, dude. Did you see it? Oh my God, this thing's gonna run, man. That's it, that's all I needed to hear. This thing is gonna run for sure. That's awesome. Okay, let's see if we can give it a little more gas, get it to go. I don't think I have it on choke. I don't know if I have it on choke or not. Let's turn it down. All right. Oh man. Yeah. Oh, heck yeah. Get that thing. There we go. My wife's gonna kill me. She works nights, so she's in the house asleep. Okay, well, it runs, dude. It runs. Man, that is awesome. I was so worried this thing wasn't gonna run, and I just like dumped my money down the drain. So yeah, that's it. All we need to do now is basically clean it up, make sure it looks perfect, and start customizing this thing. Now that I know it runs, I'm going all in on this thing. This is gonna be the coolest bike in South Texas. Let's go. Dang, look at that. It looks like something has really just made a home in there. And we're gonna get all of that stuff out of there. We're gonna clean these things up so nice. Sand them down is what we're doing right now. And that way when we paint them, the paint sticks really well. We're gonna put a really good clear coat on these things, kind of like a hard plastic candy shell. And they're gonna look really nice. And as much as I would like to 3D print these fairings right here, there's nothing wrong with them. And it'd be so much work to try to design these when I've already got a set. And there's really no point in 3D printing them if you already have a set. Oh man, I am so tired of sanding. I've been sanding this thing for like almost an hour and a half now, just trying to make sure that I get all of these parts sanded good, because I can't afford for, you know, the paint to be flaking off and looking ugly, because this is going to be representing Stay Ready to 3D Print, and not only just me, Creality as well, because their name's going to be on it. Oh man. Okay, so I've been sanding for almost 2 hours, and I've got all the parts sanded, and basically now it's time to take all these parts, wash them down, and basically just clean them up, get them ready for paint, and then we can put them to the side, not on the bike, and then we're going to finish up over here on the bike, cleaning it all up and making sure the motor is ready to go before we put this on. This will be the very last step, and then we're going to have to 3D print some parts. So let's go do that. I'm so thankful that I have this outdoor kitchen, because I don't have to wash these in the house. Now, in case you guys are wondering where I got this cool table from, I'm going to link it down in the description, and you can get one too at a discount by using my link. Yes, it's an affiliate code, and yes, I get a small commission, but at no cost to you, you can get a discount on this table. It's 60 inches wide with a really thick, heavy wood top, and it is real wood, and it is heavy, strong, and durable. It even has metal peg holes down here, kind of like a pegboard, except metal, and it comes with the pegs to install right there so you can hang your stuff. And the legs are fully adjustable with really heavy duty milled, I think it's milled aluminum or milled steel metal legs. So this thing's adjustable up and down. It's not motorized, but you can adjust the height up and down. So as you can see right here, you can take these two bolts out on all four legs and adjust it. And it has super heavy duty casters right here. And these things are really heavy duty metal. And over here, it has a built-in power source where you can just basically plug in all your stuff, and you can just have one wire coming from your table. Now I know you're probably wondering what these are, and let me show you. So these things are little payments for these guys to get these guys out of my business when they're in the way. So Razor, you're gonna take this one, take that one. All right, good job. Come get yours, that way you can go lay down too. Good job, guys. So we paint, and we paint some more, and we sand, and we sand some more, and then we paint some more. So now that I've pretty much got all of the parts painted, really the only thing left to do is basically get the motorcycle running perfectly. I need to add the kill switch to it so that you're able to turn it off. And then also I need to refinish what little parts are on the motorcycle, like the wheels and the frame and stuff like that. Those need to be refinished. That way the bike looks brand new when we give it away. Oh, and can't forget the 3D printed parts. I still need to 3D scan my K2 Plus tool head. And then after I 3D scan that, then I'm going to 3D print it and then add it to the front of the bike. Still not sure how I'm gonna do that, but I'm sure I'll figure it out. So let's go. All right, so I'm back at it again today, and Texas weather is nuts. It's like 50 something degrees, and it was literally just 90 degrees yesterday. So yeah, I don't know. But anyways, we can't let that stop the show. We've got to get this thing done. I'm almost done. I've got all of the parts pretty much painted for like the 5th time. And I've come to realize, like on this project, I've always thought that I was pretty decent at painting, but I've come to realize that I actually suck at it, and I probably should always sub that out to somebody else. And yeah, so we painted those like 5 or 6, 7 different times. And it was a lot of sanding, a lot of wasted material, a lot of time, and I should be done by now. Yeah. We're gonna get back working on the bike, and we're gonna get all of the plastic pieces put back on, and we'll see how it looks. All right, so while I was painting the bike, like every other day or so, I'd start the bike just to make sure that it was running properly and that it was gonna consistently run properly. And something happened to where it just, like, it would die when I gave it gas. And so what I did was I went ahead and replaced the carburetor, right? And then also I said, you know, while I'm there, let's just go ahead and do everything but the motor, basically. We should be good to go to run consistently well. We'll throw out these old parts because we don't need these. And this spark plug, it doesn't even look bad, but we're gonna throw it too. Now really, the only thing on this bike that's not brand new is the tires, which they were still new, and the motor and the frame. Everything else I pretty much replaced. Even the kill switch, I replaced it because I want it to be as safe as possible. And I mean, well, as safe as a dirt bike can be, right? With kids, who knows? But I don't want it to be on me if something happens. So everything that I can think of, you know, mechanically has been done. It runs like a top. I mean, every time I pull it, it starts. Every time I hit the kill, it dies. So I don't have the new kill switch installed just yet. We're about to do that now, but I did have it hooked up and it works fine. So if anybody falls off the bike, it should automatically kill the bike, which is awesome. So it doesn't keep going or, you know, start a fire or something. So yeah, and so now we're gonna get it put back together. Man, it's always something. Well, it looks like this is gonna roll on into another day. The kill switch is malfunctioning, or I have it wired wrong. I mean, they're very simple switches. It's basically a short to ground to kill the motor, and yeah. So anyways, but on the bright side, this thing looks amazing. I mean, it really looks good. Hey, and if you're not already a part of our Patreon group, go join Patreon. It's free to do, or you could do paid member. It's totally up to you. The good thing about Patreon is if you sign up, you're automatically entered into any giveaway that we do. You don't have to worry about missing a video or entering a giveaway. You will automatically be entered into any giveaway that we do, and we'll notify you if you win. So you don't have to worry about missing a notification and possibly missing your prize. So I would highly suggest being a part of the Patreon. Okay, so I finally got it figured out, and I feel like an idiot because I didn't have the rubber cap that you put on the kill switch installed properly. But the weird thing is, I had it just like that and it started before, and then after that it never started again. So I don't know, but anyways, there was nothing wrong with the kill switch. I just had to install the little rubber cap that pops off if you fall off. So we got it. So now I want to show you the bike. I've already got all the fairings put on, all the stickers, and really all I have left to do is put the K2 Plus print head on the front, run the filament to the gas tank, and then I think that's it. Oh, and I gave it a name. So I'm gonna get the head installed in the front, run the filament, and then do some little minor touch up, little clean up here and there. And then we're gonna load that baby up and we'll be heading out in the morning to go surprise the little boy. I can't wait. Let's go. What's up, guys? Here it is the morning of, and I finally got done last night. So it looks like we're gonna go. Let me show you real quick before I load it up what the finished product looks like. For weeks and weeks of working on this thing, hour after hour, I'm super pleased at the way this came out. I really hate that I couldn't do the Z-bars and get those done in time, but the K2 Plus head, man, that thing is nice. And just to think, a few weeks ago, this thing was just a piece of junk at an auction. Let's get this thing loaded up, strapped down, and down the road. After over an hour of driving, finally a sign for Brownsville. We were getting closer and closer to the border, and then I saw this. So these blue barrels are full of water, and you'll see them scattered all across the highway down here in South Texas. And our exit is coming up finally. We're gonna exit and go to the park to meet Junior and his mom. So here I am, I'm walking up to the car to see if they're ready. Hi, how are you? You have Junior with you? Oh, he's blindfolded already. Okay, good, good, good. Okay, let me get it ready and then we'll do it. All right. What we're gonna do is, here in just a second, we're gonna take off your blindfold and we're gonna show it to you and see what you think about it, okay?
Okay.
Okay. All right, guys, so now that we have Junior here, we're gonna show him what we built. And as you guys know, you guys followed along the journey. It was a crazy journey and it took a lot of effort, a lot of hours, and we finally got it done. So we're gonna rebuild to Junior his prize. You ready? Okay, you're gonna stand right here, and on the count of 3, I want you to take your blindfold off, okay? And then look right there, straight in front of you. You're gonna be looking right there, okay? All right, 1, 2, 3, take it off.
Oh, it's so late, so strong.
Yeah, over there.
What do you think?
It's cool.
It's cool? Go check it out. I think it took a little while for things to set in for Junior because he really couldn't believe that this was his. He kept asking, like, do I get to keep it? Can I take it home? And, you know, it was a lot. But I think it really set in when he got the helmet on, the gloves, the goggles, and he actually sat down on the bike and felt it and then took off on it. But seeing his face and watching him ride off on that bike, it really made all of the struggles and hassle that I went through with this bike, it made it all worth it. Thought he would be scared. Has he rode one before?
Yes, he has actually. He rides with his friend.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, well. So he's not scared of it at all, huh?
No, he's been waiting for it.
Oh, really?
He's been wanting it for a year now.
Oh, well.
Thank you so much, and stay ready to 3D print. Así le hizo.
Oh, you thought the video was over. Oh no, I still have to tell you how I ended up at El Chapo's brother's house. So let me provide just a little bit of context so you kind of understand what's going on. So before we left the park with Junior and his mom, she invited us to go eat dinner at her family's house. They were having some get together and she said, hey, while you're down here, if you guys want to have some really good food, come on over. And you know, we decided, what the heck, let's go. Now this was a big ranch out in the middle of nowhere, somewhere where I've never ever been, in Edinburgh, Texas. And upon arriving, I didn't think much of it really. I had no clue about where we were or whose house this was or anything like that. It wasn't until I got inside that I started seeing things, and then I actually hopped on Google, and then that's when it clicked and I figured out where I was. So if this wasn't a red flag, then I don't know what is. At this point, I mean, we're already committed. We were going down sketchy roads. I mean, we didn't really have a clue of where we're at. We know we're close to the border, but we're definitely far from home and headed to somewhere where we don't really know. But at this point, I mean, we didn't really have any reason to be worried. And especially exiting right here, I mean, look at the palm trees. Everything looks great. But when you look at the house on Google Earth, I mean, it is a compound out in the middle of nowhere with a super long road. I'm assuming is so they can see you coming a mile away. From what I've been told, this was just like this whenever they moved in. All of the paintings, everything, well, minus the kids' toys and stuff like that, but they were all here. Now, El Pollo, if you look it up, that's El Chapo's brother's nickname. So if you think that's crazy, wait till I show you the indoor pool and these paintings on the other side. So you probably noticed the Punisher logo inside the garage. Well, there's also one out here at the pool. And then from what I'm told, they're all in the house too. And if you look right here behind me, these, well, that's Chapo Guzman. I think that's Carlo Quintero, I think his name is. I'm not sure. But they got some interesting paintings, to say the least. And these were very nice people. They had nothing to do with cartels, and they just happened to buy the house like this. So if you've made it this far, then that means I've done something right. So you should probably subscribe and hit the like button.